the moment they don't have something to govern them and tell them that this is right and this is wrong, people go haywire.
At times, we can't wait for the government to make changes. You
Exactly,
do it.
yeah.
You start it off.
The workers getting their food delivered without a timestamp. Hi all, welcome to another episode of the Blueprint by Champions. Today we're going to speak about a topic which is related to the foreign workers, about their dormitories that they are staying in, the catered food that they are getting, and also their break times during lunch. Joining Khairul and I, we have Farid today with us. Farid, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Farid. Thank you for your time and presence together with us. Let's have an interesting discussion pertaining this topic.
Glad to be here, be part of that journey and seeing what I can do to support our foreign workers here.
Okay, so Farid, what we are going to speak today, firstly, is about the dormitories. There has been many complaints by the workers. Firstly, about the condition, the maintenance of their toilets, their rooms. They claim that they don't have enough fans in their rooms. There's very poor ventilation. Have you encountered any of this during, I believe you would have done your checks on dormitories. Have you encountered this?
Yes, we have heard comments, feedbacks on living conditions, which is not ideal. Again, even though these dormitory are subjected to regulation-wise, need to maintain X amount of
Beds to
fans,
toilets.
beds to toilets and all that. We have all that ratio clearly stipulated in our regulations. And nonetheless, this is not mandated or being verified at times, I would say. Those who are staying in Singapore longer, they know, at least they read up. Those who are new, they think, oh, this is it, that's all I get.
This is the norm.
This is the norm.
Yeah.
This is, at least I have a place to stay. Look, they always look, I did not get this, I want to do this to go back to the family. So most of them keep quiet. Those who voice out in their fear of getting deported and all that, it's been there, they scare them, all these things. So most of them keep quiet as well.
How do you as an occupier ensure that, okay, these guys, or I would say your main contractor, your subcontractor, their workers are actually given suitable accommodation? Is there anything on your end that you could actually work on?
Good question again. Contractual language. I think Singapore being a fine city, everything needs to be written in black and white.
The fine print.
Yeah, fine print.
Yeah.
Read the fine print. If the fine print isn't there, people are not going to do. Even their fine prints there, people will find loopholes to see how else we can do so that I reap more profits on the end of the dormitory provider. Do the bare minimum based on stipulation wise. And so example, they have the fan. It could be the most, there will be a fan. It won't be enough. For example, you see the ratio, they put a fan there in, but it will not cover, the radius doesn't cover.
Yeah, they say it's insufficient. Yeah.
Double decker beds. If you're on a top deck, maybe you get partial, below deck doesn't get.
Yeah.
But according to the requirement, there's a fan there. They calculate the distance is there. Whether it serves the purpose or not, nobody is looking into this.
And they don't complain also, they just keep
Exactly.
quiet. Yeah.
So those who cannot take it end up buying their own fans.
And then they
as
put
well.
it, yeah.
After that, they get complaint because it's overcrowding as well. PowerPoint not enough. That's another problem. Now everything needs to be charged, power bank, your handphones, I carry this, carry that. So that's another issue. Overcrowding leads to fire hazard as well.
Yes, correct. I believe you would have heard numerous complaints from workers. They claim that there are no sufficient washing machines. They have to hand wash. Then they don't have sufficient drying areas to dry their clothes. Then they claim that they also don't have enough cooking facilities. So because of that, they have to order food from caterers, which will be the next topic where the quality is a big question mark. What's your stand on that? What's your opinion on that?
Now, first thing first, we will talk about the dormitories or MOM approved dormitories. So the washing laundry area is provided and they are given washing machine. So in terms of dormitory like a bunk space, they are given a washing machine where they share this equally. So definitely the ratio of the workers and the washing machine is not mandated. They don't have, for example, toilet facilities and all that is a bit mandated. But for washing machine facilities, it's not mandated. That means this number of workers need to share this number of washing machine and all that. So they will always have a problem in that.
So they have to hand wash, and
Yeah.
already they are having lack of time because of their work on
Work
site
hours and
and
number of overtime
overtime.
and all that. So therefore, definitely this will usually what they will do, they will compile your clothes on the weekends, they wash, then they comes in the drying of the clothes, which won't we have adequate time for them to dry the clothes and all that.
Because they claim that they don't have enough space to dry their clothes also.
Yeah, so the space provided in the dormitories are for the laundry area. There is open space, like you can see most of the dormitories, there are big open spaces, but we're subject to weather conditions. Sometimes it gets rainy with season, then that's it. Whatever they wash, it gets destroyed and all that. So the guys really face a lot of difficulty when you talk about washing of clothes and all that.
So I believe the solution could be either two. One is to give them adequate drying areas,
Yes.
which could be actually covered so that it's covered, so that it doesn't get wet in the rain.
With
Again.
ventilation and all
Or
that.
I'm not sure, maybe
Dryer.
a special dryer for them.
Yeah, dryer
You
or
can
what.
see all those industrial dryer that you see in some places. They could actually be given that so that they could wash and dry.
Correct. True.
I believe that could be a
If that were to come in, then this would solve their problem.
problem. So Farid, there's another problem that they always complain about, which is about pests, rodent. For example, like rats, cockroaches, mainly bed bugs. They claim that most of their dormitories are always filled with bed bugs. But on the flip side, when you speak to these operators or those managers, they always claim that it's the fault of the workers because they do not keep their things tidy. They do not want to be hygienic. They use their sweaty clothes and they just hang it there, and this attracts all kind. And then they eat inside their room. What's your comment on that?
Again, ongoing prevalent issue for last 22 decades maybe.
20, 30 years.
Yes. Again, I'm a believer it takes two hands to clap. I believe both needs to play the part. Again, I'll put in context as a father, what you teach the kids, how you teach them, how you clean. So there's one part of education,
Yeah.
the other part of enforcement. First, I teach my kids, then I tell them, enforce them. You can't do this at this place because of these reasons. So that needs to be both way, enforcement and training.
Training, yep.
Same principle we apply for all coaching or training sessions. If there's both, it needs to be, you can't expect people to know, especially foreigners who've not, this is a first world country, you can say, they were not here. They don't understand where we are trying to go. Maybe they are used to it. And look, when in villages, you won't have this pest because
Space.
space.
Yeah.
And it's clean. They use clean water and all that is all fresh. Here we have different things as well. So you are confined. We are an urban jungle. So pests needs to be within the urban. They can't go to other areas as well. So rubbish dump areas. We can't, and we are a humid country. We can't get away with the cockroaches as well, rats. I think recent one
They will be around.
they will be around.
Yeah.
Recent one, I think I saw one video under the centralized rubbish, 24 rats he counted. I think I saw a video.
In Sengkang, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Sengkang again. Not Yishun.
I remember seeing it as Sengkang, if I'm not wrong. I don't know.
I don't know somewhere, but he counted. He said 24 rats around. It was night time, so that's when they come. It happens. So what are we doing there is one part of education, one part of the whole. For example, the HDB, everybody should play their part. It's not the cleaner's job only.
Yeah, true enough.
Those who staying in the residence should play their part as well.
So I guess training is very much needed for these guys to tell them, to inform them that this is how they are supposed to keep their
Consequence. What happens if you don't do this? There's always consequence. Who are suffering the consequences? It's going to be you. So let's see how we can avoid that.
Yeah.
If you're not delivering a message properly, it doesn't. You need to work more harder on getting the message delivered.
Delivered, yeah.
You putting signages, you think it works?
Doesn't. That's a
Exactly.
visual treat, I guess.
So we need to go beyond that. Taking the extra effort is what is lagging right now, I feel. We need to treat people rightly, to educate them. Again, principle is, if you can talk to a kid who can understand it, the same principle. That's why I always say, if a worker don't understand, okay, how would I tell my kid? If that way you try, I think it would work.
When you're saying about principle, when you're saying about speaking to one, training them. Another of a major complaint, major. The foreign workers always like to say that all these dormitory, the security personnels are always extremely rude to them. They say that they treat them in a very bad manner, degrading manner, scolding them. Have you encountered any of this, or anyone has actually told you about this, or maybe your work site? You would definitely maybe might have a security personnel.
Again, I'm not going to stereotype again, but most security guards are not Bangladeshis, are mostly Malaysians or local, I believe.
Yeah,
So again, one part of education is lacking tolerance. So just because foreign workers are here, you're not beneath them or they're not higher than you. So this mindset needs to change as well. So again, why would I say that way? On a construction site, I put hands over a shoulder of worker and I talk to him and ask him how things are and all that. I remember this person very well because he said, "You are the first person who talked to me like a human." He said, that touched me. I think that is one thing that is missing: treating human the way they should be treated.
like Raj Singh said, treat another with dignity. Safety is dignity is also a form of importance here.
Or don't treat somebody that you won't treat your family. Simple. If you treat a kid that way or a family member that way, take it that way. So I think if you start doing it in that perspective, things might differ. I think that's the right way to do it. Or even treat people like how you should treat them. Simple as that. All right. And another concern or issue would be a communication gap. Security guards are able to converse in basic English, I would say, or better as compared to foreigners. There is a general, in terms of their level of understanding and apprehending English, I would say.
A conversation. Yeah.
Yes. So they know basic words. Look, the way I'm talking now and the way we talk at site are total different things.
Different, exactly.
Of course,
Yeah.
the way we talk is even broken down from Singlish to other language. I don't know what we call it, but
Yeah.
it is a construction language.
Yeah.
And that level of language, not everybody can speak because we have been in the ground.
Exactly.
So we pick out keywords for them to understand. Whereas the security guards might not be able. They only see them for a few hours a day and all that.
Yeah.
So again here, two parts of it. We need to also educate the security guys how to communicate. So again, a lot of things we talked about, pictorial, videos, and so many technology is so high right now. We have so many ways we can guide them. So we have mobile phones, videos to teach them what we need to do. There's so many things we could consider. We can bridge the gap. So again, tolerance for
It's
security
very,
guards.
it's very important, I guess.
Yeah, tolerance level, being understanding. Look, for a security guard, 12 hours working is not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy, man. I've done it before. I know. Never easy standing there, keeping yourself awake, working long hours, standing. So I do understand the plight of them as well.
So their tolerance tend to be a bit lower, I guess.
Yes, of course. But at the same time, construction workers in the hot sun for 12 hours, coming back, they're exhausted as well.
Yeah.
All I want is to have a good meal and go to bed. In addition to that, we talk about they need to wash their clothes, this, that. I need to think about what I
Cook for tomorrow.
Cook for tomorrow. My wife is calling, my father is asking, so many things. It's the tip of the iceberg. You always see people in the tip of the iceberg. But beneath the iceberg is what human weighs them down. Nobody sees that. So again, being tolerant for each other.
Important, yeah.
Important.
Khairul, still on the topic of communication breakdown. A lot of these security personnel have actually said that the foreign workers, they do not tend to listen to instructions. When you tell them, they listen at that point, the next day they do it again. So the security personnel tend to lose their patience. And that's why they are being rude, they claim. What's your opinion on that?
I have a different point of view in
You
this.
always have, Khairul.
Security guards, they have a reporting structure. They have their bosses to report to, they have the building management to report to, or the dormitory operator bosses to report to. So they have a job to do and they have to get it right. So they do it day in, day out, 12 hours they've been doing it day in. They're looking at different kind of workers, different country workers and all that. And they want to set something right. The challenge they face is the compliance. So the moment they don't get that compliance from these workers, they will have to do it in a harsher way, harsher tone, but they get it right. So they get it. So when they get it, they find that there's there's no um there's no way to get things done talking to people nicely. They have to talk to people in a harsher manner to get things right. So this becomes a norm thing for them.
Becomes a habit, I will say.
Habit,
Also.
habit. Because end of the day, they only want one thing. They want to get the compliance to be done. So at the same time, workers, even general public and all that, the moment they don't have something to govern them and tell them that this is right and this is wrong, people go haywire.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes the challenge for them is to get that compliance done. In Singapore, we all believe that we are very systematic. Wherever we go, people say we are very systematic. Everything is in procedure. Why? Because there's this thing called a fine system. We are very, very afraid of this fine. Even in HDB blocks, we take something and throw out. The next few days, a letter will come in saying that kilo liter and all that. But still, it happens. But the compliance level is very good. So that is the reason why we have that standard.
Yep.
So this is the challenge in the construction sector, workers' dormitories and all that. In order to get this compliance, the enforcement must be there. So in terms of fines, admin levy system, to workers, to getting it done, then things can be done. So because security guards cannot find the workers, so they want to get the things done, they have to use harsher tone to get the things done.
Yeah.
So that is the challenge they face lah.
So Farid, just maybe you have something to say about this.
I know Khairul touched on fine system. That's a triggering point for me. I hate that terminology. Sorry, I don't like the idea of finding workers. I really, throughout my career, I might have, but early on stages I was told, but I avoid wherever I can as a safety guy to.
But again,
find
is it
workers.
legal to find a worker? I thought it's only.
No.
You have to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
a company.
You have to find the company.
So what the
why are
company-
these
but
guys finding the worker?
Yes, you know that happens.
Yeah.
But so again, finding a worker earns salary, study minimal. So finding doesn't. Okay, yes, Singapore has built a system around it. We are all afraid of fines, speeding, throwing litters, and all this. The only way we learn is I need to pay money, then I learn. But for workers also, I don't feel that's the right mindset. It's compliance. The moment you turn your back, I'm going to do it.
As long as no one's watching, okay,
Yes.
yeah.
So that doesn't help you in the long run. For immediate, yes. So that I don't believe that way changes the culture. I would
Yeah,
say.
true enough.
Yes.
Same.
So,
It is the same opinion we have here. So, going to another topic, and this is going to be a very sensitive topic because this has been happening for many, many years, which is the food quality of the catered food for the workers. So, just for the viewers who don't understand how this works, is that the workers actually purchase food from a caterer, normally arranged by the company, where they pay something like maybe 130, 120, 140 per month, where they are then given breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or dinner. Some of them will opt out from dinner because they will choose to go back to their dorm and cook. This food is cooked in the morning at 4 plus a.m. In fact, I'm just being kind because from what I heard, it's 2:30 or 3. Yes, correct. They are delivered to the dorm at 6 plus before they actually leave the dorm to go to work through the lorries where they sit behind in the lorries, which Raj Singh hates. So, and they eat their breakfast and they eat their lunch at 12 p.m. Okay, what is the issue here is that the food is cooked at 4 a.m. They eat at 12 p.m. There are 8 hours in between where the food is in the temperature of 5 degrees to 60 degrees. And they are supposed to be time-stamped 4 hours. Why is these workers allowed to eat this food after 8 hours? Farid.
very long question.
Yes.
Okay, let's break it down. So caterers first, they are given a contract to cook for X number of people. So based on the numbers they cook, they do the delivery. So for them caterer is profit driven. So more contract they get, more numbers they get, they cook and they deliver. For them that's all they're interested in. Look, I might not be a correct statement. Some are really interested in doing better, but some basic, I'm only interested in getting the food delivered. Whether it's done or not, that's not the purview, they'll say. So timestamp 4 hours. I clearly remember mentioning that.
And that is mandatory, which came into force on 15 February 2012, 13 years back.
All right. So it's still happening. All right. You see, similar to what Raj Singh say mentioned about the lorry, convenience. So, for example, if I can't adhere to the 4 hours, is I got to make more trips,
You have to make multiple trips.
multiple trips to the site wherever the location is, which equates to dollar cents.
Yeah.
So, if you ask me whether a caterer would save money on delivery or not, logically speaking, he will do it 2 in 1, so that he can deliver. So, look, I'm not saying this is right or not. You come to that in a while. For the convenience for them, they do it together. Even dinner usually deliver 3, 4. Also, most of them are not able to keep within the 4-hour timestamp.
But isn't that a legal requirement?
Of course, it is.
So, why isn't the legal authority, which is the Singapore Food Agency, looking into this?
Singapore Food Agency, it's one entity. I think they have a lot of other priorities, I would say, in managing. Of course, it's part of their scope as well. But in terms, I think they have major cases. I mentioned they deal with major food poisoning cases and all that in high level. They do enforcements across as well in pasar malams and all this as well.
So, why do they only get involved when there's a maybe Khairul, you could answer this. Why do they only get involved when there's a mass food poisoning and then it comes out in the paper? But the workers getting their food delivered without a timestamp, and I'm saying this based on a video that I received today itself, because just to make sure that the facts are out there, I got one of my workers to actually took a video of workers having their lunch and the packets don't have a timestamp. How is this happening still in 2025 when the law was enforced in 2012?
Because there's no major incident or issues that has arisen. That means there's no workers who have been
Gone through this mass
gone
food
through-
poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no casualty involved in this. So therefore, so many years this has been happening. Everything has been going on fine, and workers tend not to. There's no whistleblower for this kind of thing.
You'll be surprised, Khairul, they don't even know that a timestamp is actually
Yeah,
required.
exactly. I think most of them doesn't even know this requirement. As such, things are going as smooth as possible, because many of the even authorities will feel that there is no proper solution for that. But I also come across main contractors who have a different type of arrangement where the morning breakfast is delivered to their respective dormitories and the lunch is delivered to the work sites respectively, and the dinner is delivered to the work site. And then this arrangement can be done, but it depends on the respective companies.
And it's very rare now, if you ask me.
Yeah. So again, coming back to there, it's the duty of the employer to oversee all this and ensure all this compliance, because dormitory operators will not get involved in this. So it's the respective
Yeah, it's
employer.
none of their-
It's the respective employer. They need to make sure that the workers are given the necessary welfare, especially food. So, to answer your question, why are authorities not getting involved? Because simple, there is no major case. The workers, there's no cases of any food poisoning and
Or
all
no
that.
complaints.
No complaints. So everything is going smooth.
So Farid,
No complaints maybe went up to the higher up in the
Higher
food chain,
level.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sad to say when you're saying it's only we are reactive when something big happens.
True.
So that's a realistic thing which is happening in our
Let's
country.
talk. We go back to our previous two topics. We had the lorry cases. We had a major accident in one of the highways where the workers were being ferried behind. They were hit. There were a lot of serious cases. It was a very big topic for a few months.
Died off.
Died off. No conclusion.
No more
because-
flavor of the month
Yeah,
already.
because they spoke for a alternate solution, buses and all that, but it wasn't so practical. Things didn't work out. It just died off.
Until the next one.
Yeah.
so Farid, touching on what Khairul said, complaints. In December 2023, there was a post by a previous MP, Mr. Louis Ng, where he actually spoke about this issue. And he posted in Facebook saying that the SFA, the Singapore Food Agency, have said that they have not received a complaint from anyone for the past 5 years that their food does not have a timestamp. We all know, 90%, or I would even say 95% of all the food that is delivered to foreign workers do not have a timestamp. Even if they do, I am not very sure if they are amended or anything, but they do not even have a timestamp, which is against the law. Again, why is this not being looked into when it's so obvious right in front of our eyes?
Again, I believe we should be looking, or even context wise. Everybody thinks no one is, they don't hear anything. No news is good news. So nobody's taking action, perhaps, and nobody's speaking up. These are a few things. So right now, even if we speak up, my few other questions would be, how are they going to keep up with this increasing
cost will increase.
Of course, cost will increase, definitely. And tendency employee going to pin the cost on who?
The workers.
Workers.
Yeah. But would the workers mind actually paying a little more? Say to get their food at maybe say at 11 a.m. so that they can eat at 12 p.m. That's one thing. Second thing is to have quality food. You see, there was a few years ago, there was a Instagram, I think, like a video where the rice was as
Stone, clay, hard, rock like that. Yes.
And it still happens today.
Yes,
up
correct.
till today.
I've seen it before in my own hands. I feel, and the guys had to pour water on their rice and squeeze.
Yeah. But when
so heartbreaking to see this kind of things.
Exactly. When we put it out, or when the foreign workers put it, maybe say in TikTok or whatever, it always gets shut down. No, this is an isolated case.
Yeah.
Again, I said we know that there is no timestamp, there's nothing, and
look, I believe the thing that when there's a will, there's a way. I believe there leaders in the industry who are able to make a change. If they can do it, I believe they can. For the lorries one, for example, what I have done in my company is mandating contractually not allowed to ferry anyone in lorries. Enclosed buses, vans, vehicles. I put it black and white in contract. I've done it. I know a few other companies have done it as well. So if leaders of this are trying for the change, I believe the rest will follow suit. I even went up to the subcontractors. If any subcontractors are ferrying in lorries, they're going to be disbarred for contractually wise. So if you, small players, at times we can't wait for the government to make changes. You
Exactly,
do it.
yep.
You start it off. If you start, next will follow.
more will follow. Yeah.
Exactly. Those leaders who have that capability or resources, I would say, push, make a change. Start the change by you. Don't calculate costs. If I'm not wrong, in Italy, if I'm not wrong, workers are given 2 hours break to go back home, cook their meal and eat and come back. All right? They're given that break. Workers are treated there like that.
Farid, the jam is so bad, Farid. We can't go home and cook.
Look, I'm saying context of it.
Yeah.
And when the employees ask you, are you okay to let 2 hours of downtime? Oh, this is the right thing to do. I saw a video recently. If they're not going to take a break, look, when this happens, you see their productivity rate increases.
That's the thing.
Their productivity rate increases. They are more happy in the organization. And they're more happy to work in the long term. You don't see turnovers there. So, look, these are all examples I can give. Whether people follow this suit or not, that's a secondary question, I would say.
So, Khairul, now touching on another topic, which we have seen many times over many years, but we rarely spoke about it until an incident recently became viral, where the workers are resting under the blocks, lying down, sleeping, because what they do is they try to eat their lunch in 10 minutes. 12:15 to 1 p.m. they try to have a quick nap because they only sleep for 5 hours at night. They need to come back, they need to cook, they need to wash their clothes, blah, blah, etc. Then there was this video where this uncle was saying that, are you allowed to sleep here? It's not your grandfather's place, is it? You all are no use. Your opinion, Khairul.
I think, of course, the words that he used, like y'all are no use, y'all, and the approach was wrong. But he does bring out a point of that the workers were resting, and there are a lot of ladies going by, public is going by, and all that. So his point was right, but the way of delivering it to the workers
He
or the
executed
way
it wrongly.
of approaching is wrong. He does not understand that the agony that they are going through, the number of hours they sleep, and they have to carry out their work in the morning, and the hard work that they put in for the works and all that. So all that was not considered in his speech and the way he talked to the workers. But again, I come back to this thing: employer should have catered for this. Usually, all these HDB contractors and all that on the in the public neighboring public construction sites don't have this problem because they have a adequate space in the
They
construction
have
site
a
here and
resting
there.
space
Here
also.
and there, they rest and all that. So those who are working in this kind of areas, employers should also look into this. Provide maybe even if it's going to be a HDB block under the block, you can cordon off an area, request space, and then say that this is the place they're going to eat and sleep. There would not be any problem. So employers should take such initiatives for the workers and all that. So we'll solve this problem.
So Farid, on your end, how do you think we can solve this?
People, as you say, the uncle got to see it. He couldn't take it.
The impression.
Impression of, oh, this is void deck, kids, family. But sleeping is one thing every human does. So I don't know why is it so wrong,
So triggering.
true triggering for them to rest. Okay, then I mean, maybe uncle was had a bad day or all that. But that's secondary. But I think giving them allocate space, again planning. When
How
you
do we give them?
Okay. So again, for this particular use, under void deck, if the work area is there, the particular work area, I believe if you have reached out to town council, hey, look, can you give me additional space? It might cost money. Might cost money. Look, if you want to rent a void deck space, you need to pay $50 and all that for event, all that. So if you planned it early and requested the space from town council and get approval, I'm not sure how the exact approval process is, and if you can have it cordoned off, do it done. I know it's temporary, but still, if you have cordoned off, keep a
You
couple of
wouldn't have these
chairs,
complaints.
benches for them to sit down and work. Look, again, for employees, it's not only one. If you buy investment, this kind of tables and benches, it's an investment. You can use it throughout, not only for one project, for all upcoming projects as well. Have that area.
There was once that I was on a sky garden, the one that is above the car parks. On the 7th floor or 6th floor, they always have like a sky garden, and where they have all these plants and
Rooftop gardens
Yeah,
kind of
rooftop
thing.
gardens.
Yes,
and
yes.
we call it. I don't know why they call it sky garden. Yeah. So there was once I saw. You'll be surprised. I saw a decathlon tent, a very big tent. And because normally when workers work there, they work only, there are only 2 or 3 of them. And I saw the workers resting inside the tent. And that kind of impressed me because I was like, look at this employer. He could have just told them, just go down 1 floor down to car park, 7th floor, nobody will be there, just sleep there. But he personally got a tent for them and asked them to sleep in a tent. Of course, we can come to the question of whether there's ventilation, whether it's hot, but the thought that counts.
Yeah, exactly. The extra effort. And
The extra effort, so-
It might not have cost a lot for him as an employee, the tent, but Decathlon made life easier for everybody. Like. Okay, we're not advertising Decathlon, but thing is, the extra effort the employee did, that's one thing, doing a little bit more. Exactly what we will do for our kids.
Exactly, that's the thing. So
But again, at that situation, there wasn't this uncle who would say, hey, how come you're putting a tent down here? Then everybody will put a tent down here,
the uncle will say later, you all of you all put
campfire
tent,
eventually or what?
campfire, yeah.
So
No, but again, the answer that is to have it cordoned off.
Yeah.
Say this is my
suitable
space.
place would be-
Construction going on, anybody come relate to this. So makes it more appropriate, I would say.
Should I say that it could be the occupier's responsibility? For example, town council, HDB, and all these guys, when they are engaging contractors, they have to make sure that these guys have a allocated space for their workers. Because
Very good point.
Because if you allow these contractors, they will choose not to do. As easy as they want it to be, they will let it be. But as the occupier, you could enforce on it.
The guy coming out with the contract,
Yeah.
that means the developer side, whoever it
The
is,
procurement or
procurement,
Yeah.
put in the contractual term. If it costs money, factor it in.
yeah.
So as an employer or who put that in, include all these costs. These are all unseen costs. Put that in. So, but again, sadly, we go for the lowest bid.
Yeah. That is
That,
another
okay, that
problem.
one you can open up a new different topic,
Yeah.
but that's not what we want. So these are things we should consider, factor that in.
Yeah, I always felt that, like whenever I see these guys sleeping, and I always feel that why don't the occupier, which means the owner, the HDB, LTA, or these guys, Even today, while I was driving from here, from going past Dairy Farm Road, by the pavement, I was going past at around 12 p.m., hot sun, Dairy Farm Road, and I saw by the pavement there was like 4 or 5 guys sleeping on the pavement. They are doing, I'm not very sure, is it some landscaping work or is it some road works? I don't know. But it just strikes me that why don't the owner, which means like LTA or NParks, or mandate it that, okay, show me how are you going to make sure there's a rest area for these workers. What do you think, Khairul? How do you think this could be improved?
When we always, as a main contractor or occupier, when we take a job, we need to provide them with the safety plan. We will tell them how we're going to carry out the job safely and everything. So if this was also incorporated, taking the welfare of the workers from transportation to food to rest area, if all these were covered, and the contractor has to explain it to the occupier, this will solve all the problem, because they are somehow obligated, because they already present it that this is how I'm going to manage. Then they will have to do it correctly.
They will be forced to.
Yeah, they'll be
I
forced
believe
to.
they will be forced to.
So in Singapore, like I said, you need to have something to really
Push them.
So you need to govern them. You need to impose fines on them. People will follow. We won't be able to get this compliance level, this standard, and this procedure level if this wasn't in place. Yeah.
So, Farid, just before we come to the end of this episode, we have spoke about 3 things: dormitory, food, resting areas. What would be your final words to actually sum up this episode? How do you think we could improve? Where do you see us going?
Okay, I'll give you a small little context I saw. Listen to sum up. I saw one when I started out in shipyard. This was almost 20 years ago. I think
Wow,
10,
so
15,
old
10,
lah,
15
Farid.
years. Okay. I was new, so fresh.
Okay, you are young.
So when they had numbers in the helmet for workers, hey, why you got numbers? Well, that's how we identify and call.
Okay.
That time I didn't get it, or make it easier for them and all that. Recently, I still see it 20 years down the road, workers are given numbers in t-shirt.
I think that is actually usually this
Identification?
identification from the office level, because
Yeah,
the HR personnel and all that, they can't recognize workers by their names. The project managers, supervisors will know them by names. So HR personnel, to relate to them, they need 431 is this worker. So
Correct.
They have
Okay, but what happens is the culture is everybody starts calling them by the number. He's identified by a number.
Yeah.
At this time of you're calling somebody by a number, I can't fathom the fact that we are still doing it. Again, going back to all these things, dignity, treating people with respect, start doing that. These kind of small little things matters. Again, how would you feel if somebody calls your kid by a number in a classroom?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You are given index number, but that doesn't say this is your.
yeah, correct.
So if you, this kind of thing we need to eradicate out of the system. Small little things matter. These are the things I would say.
These are the cultural
Things. Start moving everything. Treat people the right way they should be treated. I think everything else will fall in place.
Especially like what we have spoken: dormitory, food, and the break times. Because we have done numerous episodes. If you've seen the comments, majority of them, they keep on saying, please speak about our accommodation. Please speak about our food and about our rest times. I had messages from people. They have sent me their food without timestamp and all this kind of thing. I find it quite saddening, because there's no one to really amplify these issues for them. That's the reason why we are having this podcast.
Voice.
Yeah, voices.
Nevertheless, I think over the years there has been tremendous improvement.
Definitely.
Dormitory, last time they were on-site dormitories, now they are getting
I think that's recently MOM has have built their own dormitory,
correct.
something
Yes,
like this. Yeah.
Quite good. No? The way the video I saw is quite, they are
And
encouraging
I see
people.
a lot of dormitories, they have theatres in the cinema system and all kind of recreation activities. It has progressed very much,
But
it will still progress.
it could
but
improve
at
more.
the same time, foreign workers should also respect all these
Of course.
privileges given to them
Exactly.
and make use good of it and compliance is very
A
important.
fine line, do not abuse it.
Yeah, do not
Yes.
abuse it.
Correct. Yes.
Use it, do not abuse it.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people doing the right things as well. So it takes both ends. I started
ends.
earlier.
Yeah,
It takes
definitely,
both
yeah.
ends to do it. Let's to do it together.
Correct.
Right.
To summarize this, I think there are a few ways that we can resolve this problem. There's always a solution for this. Number one, there can be in-house canteens where a lot of construction sites, they can cater space, get the relevant authorities' approval, do their own cooking, and cater food for their respective workers. Of course, yes, there are challenges where there are small construction sites. So this can be applicable to sites which have adequate workforce, have the necessary facility. And those work sites whom are small, who don't have this privilege or space to have this in-house canteens, there can be another solution where the food's delivered by the approved caterers must be delivered at specific timings with adequate temperature and all that. So if all these were to be in place, the food welfare for the workers can be definitely be improved.
LTA works, projects and all that. We usually see traffic marshals or wardens, whichever you call it. They are very well visible. I think there's good. I think there's a new recent initiative where we have external guys comes in beyond that contractors. So this external party comes in, a group of them. They have their full gear, make sure they are protected from the sun and all that. And they have rest areas as well. I've
Like
seen
a
them.
tent, right?
With chairs and and they do rotation there.
Rotation, yeah, correct.
So my question is, if we can consider this for these guys, why
not
aren't
the
we
construction
looking at the bigger picture?
So if LTA can do it, why not HDB,
Yeah,
town council,
exactly.
and parks and all this?
So exactly, giving rest workers. We understand traffic wardens need to stand, so that's why they have rotation. Same workers also need to stand 12 hours. They are slogging under the hot sun.
They need a proper place to eat, rest.
Exactly. Oh, don't get me started with toilet as well. Of course, that's another thing.
Maybe it boils down to employers' duties and responsibilities again. If this was to be mandated under the employers' duties and responsibilities to provide all this for the workers.
So there's also one part of being very prescriptive. How long is this list going to be?
It will be never ending.
So
true.
Singapore being very prescriptive, everything needs to be contractual. But the things
But
is
people don't comply if they don't tell
that's
them.
a sad reality. Being very prescriptive is one language, but in a nutshell, we should be looking at a bigger picture of how else can we improve, or how else can we care for the right people. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Farid. Once again, we have come to the end of the episode. We would have learned much from your experiences dealing with all these kind of issues. Once again, thank you so much, Farid.
Thank you, Farid. There were many good pointers, a lot of experience being shared. We really appreciate this. The viewers will really appreciate this. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Blueprint team, Sajan and Khairul. Again, wonderful, free-flowing conversations.
Exactly.
I like that we have this good conversation, speaking up for the right things. Please continue to do that. Strive forward, guys. Thank you very much.
Hi all, we have come to the end of this episode. Thank you for joining us in this episode. Do kindly join us in our next episode where we will speak more topics related to the HSE and fire industry. Meanwhile, do share, like, comment on our socials. Till then, see you guys.